Ahead of the huge test match this weekend between Ireland and the All Blacks, I've identified each team's 5 key routes to victory. Now these are 5 things in which I personally believe will hold each team in good stead to go on and win this really important test match in the quarter-final of the World Cup, and then consequently book themselves a place in the semi-final. For Ireland, that'll be the first time, so they can create some history for their nation. So look, I'm going to start off with the All Blacks firstly. Point number 1 is play a high-tempo game of rugby with fast ruck speed. Now look, it's no secret that the All Blacks love to throw the ball around and play an attractive brand of rugby. And I think that's something that they really shouldn't go away from. You know, your DNA as a country is always what you do best at. And if you start to deviate away from that and play a test match brand, you're playing into other teams' strengths. So look, New Zealand really need to embrace the way they play and then utilise the high speed of ball to really go out and attack Ireland, especially in the wide expansive areas. The Irish D comes up really, really fast, so the ability to beat that and get that fast tempo ball. Now, fast tempo ball is easier said than done. It means the All Blacks have got to resource the rucks really well, get the likes of Tyburn off of that ball, get Peter O'Mahony's arms away from the ruck, clear them out nice and quickly, present Aaron Smith with that ball and get the ball away nice and quick. You don't want to get to the end of the game and realise Rieko Ioane's touched the ball twice, Will Jordan's touched it once, and it's not an ideal picture. So look, resource the rucks quickly, get the ball out to the wide expanses, and really take it to Ireland in the wide channels. Point number 2, which sort of slightly contradicts the first point, but not really, don't overplay. So what I spoke about with a fast ruck speed and tempo is don't do that from your 5 metre line. You know, the All Blacks sometimes are guilty of playing from too deep. As I say, you've got to embrace what you do well as a country and as a rugby team, but there's also times in which you've really got to rein it in and switch the brain on and realise, look, now's not the time. So look, it's something that does work well for the All Blacks at some points in time. You know, if you're attacking from your own 22, that can often be a good option, because when a team's anticipating a kick, they'll easily drop sort of 4 or 5 players into the backfield in anticipation, which obviously leaves the front line depleted of numbers. So it can work well for New Zealand, but I'd recommend that they really do view the picture in front of them, and if it's not on, don't try and force it from your own half. Go to the boot of Aaron Smith, go to the boot of Mo'unga, and play some structure, and then when the opportunity presents itself, then you play. Don't try and play from everywhere. Point number 3, maul and scrum defence. Now, it's no secret that Ireland will probably really fancy their chances at scrum time, and probably in the maul as well. The maul is, I'm not going to say it's a massive area of weakness for the All Blacks, but it's somewhere in which a good maul team can really try and take it to the All Blacks, and they could reap some rewards. The Irish did that on the 2022 tour in the summer, where they won 2-1 over the All Blacks in their back garden. So I would assume the Irish would definitely go back to that tactic of really trying to maul the All Blacks, especially from 5 metres out. And when it comes to scrums as well, the All Blacks have got to make sure they lock out. Don't give the Irish easy scrum penalties, because Johnny Sexton will kick it 30-40 metres every time, and before you know it, you'll be back in your own 22. So look, the All Blacks have just got to make sure they don't give Ireland any easy entries via maul and scrum defence, or just in general, to be honest. Point number 4, tip passes and kicks. Now this means kicks in an attacking sense. Now the Irish love to come off the line and make big hits and get Doris over the ball and get those turnovers. And look, a way of doing this and a way of stopping the Irish getting so much success from their line speed is by using crossfield kicks or kicks in behind, which will really, over the course of the game, will take the sting out of the line speed and force the Irish to realise we can't shoot off the line because they have other attacking weapons, which obviously puts us in a vulnerable position. So the use of tip passes and kicks from New Zealand, especially early on, could really take the sting out of the Irish defence. And look, it could help them find some space in the backfield, and ultimately will help them find alternate ways to get around the Irish defence, because you don't want to be running it in route 1 consistently against the Irish with no deception, because you end up on your backside and getting turned over. So that's something the All Blacks can do really well. They've got some really good handlers in that team, especially in the forward pack. Ardie Savea loves the tip pass, so they've got the players to do it. It's just about the execution, and I'm sure Bodie and Richie Mo'unga would feel very confident putting in crossfield kicks on the money to the likes of Jordan and Talea. So look, it's definitely something the All Blacks could do to target the Irish. Point number 5, line speed, especially from phase 1. So the All Blacks, when they're playing Ireland, have got to be so careful, because the Irish do love to attack off first phase. You saw it against Scotland, and they scored a good couple tries from first phase attack. So the line speed from the All Blacks has got to be really, really impressive. they've got to get off the line and sort of stop the ball at source. Don't let it get out the back. Don't let Sexton make that pass. Really shut it off and stop the ball at source, because as soon as that ball gets to Ringrose and Aki in the wide channels, you know what they can do. They can offload it and they can play some real nice rugby. So look, line speed for the All Blacks will be key in terms of taking the space away from Johnny Sexton. Don't let him have that much time on the ball, because when he does, he can make some real killer decisions. And he's very, very dangerous in terms of bringing other players into the game. On the Irish side, attack the set piece, I think, is key. As I said, it's no surprise that the Irish will fancy their chances at maul time and at scrum time. Look, if they can get penalties out of the scrum against the All Blacks, it'll hold them in real good stead in terms of territory and field position, and ultimately put them in a good position to then launch their attacks and score some points. Scrum time, especially, I think they'll go after. Look, with the maul, the Irish have got lots of attacking set plays off of the maul. A lot of the time they don't actually maul it. They use Van der Fleer out of the back or a peel from Dan Sheehan, and use alternate ways to use the maul to their advantage without directly mauling it. Whereas in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go back to the basics and go, let's kick to the corner, let's go 5 metres out, and let's just have a man-on-man pushing contest, and let's try and get this ball over the line. So look, I think that's potentially something Ireland could look at as a major weapon to go and win this game. Hence why I put utilise maul. So I've sort of summed it up in the first point, but it sort of blends in nicely. They've got to use that to their advantage. You know, as soon as you maul and get a real good success off of a driving maul, you often see teams completely overcommit, put too many numbers in, and then they find themselves vulnerable to the likes of Sheehan peeling off the back. So look, the variety of the mauls I think would be a real key factor for Ireland. And then point number 3, go after the breakdown. Now, with any team that's looking to play high tempo rugby, the breakdown is the key to stopping that. Get Tadhg, get O'Mahony, get Doris, get Josh van der Fleer, get their hands on that ball at the ruck time. Look, see if you can secure some turnovers, because that's the golden prize ultimately. Penalties from turnovers, but even if you sort of delay the ball by half a second, every other ruck, that'll hold you in good stead to really put a sort of a dent in the attacking speed of the opposition, and ultimately hold the speed of ball up and allow your team to then reset and then get good line speed. The more time your defence has to reset, the better the line speed. So I think that could be a key point for Ireland. Point number 4, kick to compete. I wouldn't advise massively kicking deep to the likes of Barrett, Mo'unga, or a Talea or a Jordan, because these are players in which just have moments of magic. I mean, you can't necessarily anticipate half the stuff they do. You know, prime Bowden Barrett could just do something you completely don't expect, and you'll find yourself under your posts. Will Jordan and Talea are both players with just massive amounts of X factor. Look, watching the game from every single possible angle, sometimes you can't predict that they're going to break a tackle, or you can't predict that they're going to do a miracle chip and chase or a switch play or anything. So just limit the opportunities that you give the back three, especially in open play, to have free shots at you. And more kick to compete. Use Hansen in the air. I mean, he's a brilliant aerial winger. And then use James Lowe's boot to kick one up in the air, get Keenan under the ball, try and win contestable ball as opposed to giving it away for free. Or even just kick to the lineouts, kick to touch, and then you'd probably back the likes of, James Ryan's might not be fit. Henderson, you'd probably back him in the air, you'd back Byrne in the air, you'd back Peter O'Mahony to try and win and turn over ball at the lineout. So what I'm saying is mainly, if you're going to give the ball to New Zealand, make them work for it. Don't just put it on a plate, because you'll be feeding the attacking style that they want to play. And point number 5 is anticipate attacks at all times. So as I've said, the All Blacks really do like to play, especially from their own half. So the ability to anticipate this, know this is coming and be aware of it, and potentially don't overcommit to the kick receipt. Don't put as many men in the backfield if you know that they're very likely to play from their own half. You're very vulnerable on kick receipt, especially when you've not got many men in the front line, because as soon as the line break's been made, you're very, very vulnerable, especially with the attacking threats the All Blacks have, the pace of Ioane, Jordan, Talea. They can put on some really nice support lines, and you saw in the test over in New Zealand last summer, I think it was the All Blacks from their own 22. Ardie Savea, I think, did an inside ball to Will Jordan. He ran 80 minutes. Sexton couldn't quite get him, and he was in the corner. So the All Blacks really can turn the game on a sixpence at any point in time. So Look, anticipate them attacking from deep because, look, it's more than likely a team won't deviate away from what they've done in previous games. So anticipate this, know it's coming, embrace it, realise what you can do to adapt to it, and then ultimately shut off those options, force the All Blacks to kick to you, and then you've got possession, and then you can go into your own phase play. So look, those are 5 things from each team in which I feel like they could implement to give them a good shot at winning the game. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section down below. I'd love to debate it. I do enjoy talking about the tactical side of rugby. Have I made a howler in here? Is something completely wrong? Please do let me know. And yeah, I'll read all of the comments as always. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.